Once again, stations, if you encounter technical issues during the broadcast, please call the Oregon Studio Hotline at 336-831-0864. Stations, your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
The following is a presentation of Learfield IMG College.
This is Duck Insider.
Give it to Roedl. He's got the first down and gone. Duck fans start celebrating. Oregon is the 2019 Pac-12 champion. The 2020 Rose Bowl champion.
Richardson, another open three. Good. Duarte dribbles and slams with the right hand. For the third time in the last 5 years, the Ducks are Pac-12 champions.
Foley three. Good. Foley ball. Back out Shelley. Three ball. Good. Regular season champions and now Pac-12 tournament champions.
Welcome to Duck Insider.
We're just getting started.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
Thank you, and it's going to be a busy day today. The Ducks just wrapped up some interviews. We've got Verone McKinley III talking to the media today. Also, DJ James will zero in on that Oregon secondary. And we're going to talk with the big man in the middle, Popo. Look, he has arguably the best name on the Oregon football roster. I mean, it's just such an identifiable name. Everyone just calls him by his first name. It's very similar. There's people like that. There's Sabrina, obviously. We've talked about that with women's basketball. And, yeah, I think that Popo is in that same realm of just a recognizable singular name. So happy Thursday, everybody. It is Athletic Director Thursday, brought to you by Pepsi and locally owned Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks, drink Pepsi. Our Athletic Director interview coming up in just a moment. We do have some news for you today, though, as the Ducks worked out under the lights last night with that new video board in action, also some piped-in crowd noise, which actually is normal at an Oregon football practice when they're running 11-on-11 drills, but that piped-in crowd noise in Autzen, a good thing to sort of, for lack of a better phrase, rehearse, because that's how games are going to go this year. Going to be a little bit odd, to say the least. So that was last night, and we also have a basketball schedule today. That's right. The Pac-12 has released the men's basketball schedule. Oregon will begin this Pac-12 conference season December 12th at Washington. You heard that right. When the Husky football team is here, the Husky basketball team is going to host the Ducks in Seattle. So, in other words, December 12th is just Oregon-Washington rivalry day. We also will have, the Ducks that is, a matchup with UCLA on December 23rd. So 2 December games for the Ducks. We'll go through all the details. Those of you who are watching the show can see it. Final weekend of conference play will be just rivalry games, and the Ducks do not visit Pullman this year. And Oregon also will not host USC this year in the inaugural 20-game season for Pac-12 men's basketball. We're going to talk about that, and we'll talk a little bit of football, the preparations that are underway, as Deputy Athletic Director Eric Roedl joins us for Athletic Director Thursday, brought to you by Pepsi. Eric, it's great to see you, even if it's virtual. And I got to say that, the home office needs some Duck swag.
Yeah, I'm not quite up to your speed there with the Duck swag, Joey. You've got a good collection going, and I miss being there in the studio. I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, you too. I appreciate you saying that. It's been weird to do these interviews via Zoom, but fortunately, with technology the way that it is, we are able to still do so. So my best to you and your family, Eric. I got a lot to cover. The Deputy Athletic Director, Eric Roedl, joining us. Look, Eric, I think the first obvious question is just dealing with the scare, if you will, of 5 positive tests over the weekend for Oregon football that paused activities. Then they come back to be confirmed by 2 independent labs of PCR tests that they were false positives and they're negatives. Can you just walk fans through, just from your chair, what that whole process was like and handling the protocols and just, I don't know, the A to Z, if you could, of what was, I think, a stressful weekend for a lot of folks?
Yeah, certainly, stressful for the staff, for our student athletes, and for the program. But we've got a really carefully prescribed set of protocols that we've been following from day one, and that involves daily antigen testing. And over the weekend, we had the 5, positive antigen tests that popped up. And remember, we're testing, healthy, asymptomatic student athletes on a daily basis as part of these protocols. And we had the 5 positive antigens. And, the protocols call for us to follow up those positive antigen tests with PCR tests, which are then tested through 2 different labs. And then we have those results that came back negative, fortunately for everybody. So we have to work our way through that process over a couple-day period. Out of an abundance of caution, we decided to pause our football activities and see what the test would bring. And our student athletes handled it really well. Our coaching staff did a great job communicating with them and kind of walking them through a process, communicating with our student athletes' families. And, fortunately, early part of this week, we were able to resume activities and continue with camp.
And before you know it, it's going to be kickoff for Oregon and Stanford, which I think we're all counting down towards. And doing it safely, though, has always been paramount. Taking care of student athletes, coaches, the staff, that has been the paramount focus here around the University of Oregon. I think around the entire country in the Pac-12 for sure.
Absolutely. And I'll just say, Coach Cristobal has been outstanding all the way through, and the leadership he's provided to our football program and the seriousness with which they've handled all of these protocols. And when you have those positives, the reason you follow that up with a PCR, which that's the test that most of the general public will take when they're taking a test for COVID. When our student athletes take those PCRs, those are the more reliable tests. And that's why that process follows that sequence.
Eric, did you ever think in your career that you would know this much about tests and different tests and how tests work?
Absolutely not. And I'm no way an expert on this. We've got an outstanding medical team. Dr. Davidson, Kim Terrell, our entire medical team has just done a phenomenal job managing all of this and keeping our student athletes' health and safety at the forefront.
There's so many moving parts, Eric. I don't even know where to start with where preparations are for a season that's going to look so different. What's on your agenda? Maybe I'll do this. What's on your agenda today as we move towards a different-looking season here coming up in 9 days?
That's a timely question. I have 2 more Zoom meetings, our favorite type of meeting now, today, where we're going to be talking about football operations. We've got an internal group that is regularly communicating on that, and game days are certainly going to look a lot different. There are certain things that are going to be consistent all the way through with a normal game, but then we've also got, all the different protocols and things that are in place now. Certainly, the aspect with the general public or our fans is a lot different. So the game day production will be significantly different. The atmosphere around the stadium and staffing and everything that's going on a typical game day changes a lot. But, there's still a game happening between the lines, and we'll make sure that we're ready for that to happen. We've got game day testing that has to happen for both teams and both, the travel party as well as many of the people on our side of things. So lots to work through there, Joey, but we've got, again, a staff that's done an outstanding job preparing for this and building out a plan and working with our local and state health authorities to make sure that everything's dialed in.
Deputy Athletic Director Eric Roedl, our guest, joining us via the University of Oregon Alumni Association guest line. Eric, with preparations and just everything that logistically is going into this, I think some important reminders that I wanted to hit on with you for fans is, as Rob Mullins sent out the email to the Duck mail list, if you will, and if you're not on that list, go to goducks.com to subscribe to it. No fans around Autzen Stadium, no tailgating. We're looking forward to having everybody back at Autzen Stadium again, but we just can't do it right now with the way things are in the climate. Just any other reminders, Eric, that you want to get out there for fans as we try to navigate these waters?
Yeah, we've received a lot of positive feedback on the communication that went out yesterday. And, we appreciate everybody's support. We've got the most passionate, supportive fan base in the country and in the Pac-12. And, we're proud to have that support, but we've got to manage it the right way right now. And unfortunately, the circumstances call for us to celebrate our football season a little bit differently this year. And, tailgating and gatherings here on campus and at the Autzen site are just not something that we can accommodate right now. We're going to have staffing out there to make sure that we keep the lots clear and we keep a safe, healthy environment. We encourage people to follow the protocols that are out there for the general public when it comes to watching the game. We want to keep the gatherings, to under 10 and encourage everybody to keep their distance, wear their masks. And, we want to beat this thing together so that we can all get back into the stadium and celebrate a football game the right way. But we've got to take all those steps right now in the short term.
Get those masks. I'm telling you. Duck Store's got them. GoDucks.com's got them. In fact, there's a 65% off sale on GoDucks.com right now if anybody was curious. Eric Roedl joining us, Deputy Athletic Director. So you getting some fan cutouts for the Roedl family?
Well, this is a source of controversy, Joey, because we got a pandemic dog, Deke.
Yep.
Golden Doodle. We got him on May 1st. He was 8 pounds. Now he's 56 pounds. And he got his season ticket punched yesterday. So he's got a doggy cutout. He's going to be in there watching the game, but my kids, they're going to be stuck here at home watching on TV.
All right.
So.
The dog got priority. I like it. Hey, so that's awesome. We got a puppy as well. He is a 3/4 black lab, quarter golden retriever. Got him in April. He was 11 pounds when we got him. He was 7 weeks old and 11 pounds. He is now 90 pounds, Eric. So I'm right there with you. It's been interesting, and I got to tell you, Eric, and I'm sure you've gone through this a little bit as we've started to see more and more people in the office, but still not what we're used to. He really does not like the fact that my wife and I are gone now, because all he's ever known in his entire life is that we were working from home for the early part of his life. So I'm with you. Good luck. I hope that the Roedl puppy does better than ours has.
Well, he's been awesome, and I'm glad that we're able to deliver that game day experience for him.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it. The fan cutouts are going to be, trust me, fans, you're going to want to see some of the pictures that come out of the unique fan cutouts. It's going to be a lot of fun. Eric Roedl, our guest.
We are up over 1,400 fan cutouts right now. And
nice.
We hope to keep that going. It's going to be a fun site in Autzen Stadium.
Nice.
Definitely going to have a great pet section.
I am very excited because I got one, and so I'm going to, at some point, I need to take a picture next to my fan cutout. It's going to be like the inception moment. And then we've decided, Eric, that we're going to put all the fan cutouts of everybody from the Oregon Sports Network up here in the studio somewhere. I'm excited for that because it's going to be just I don't even know what it's going to be called. I was going to say like a plaque on the wall to remember what is a very weird year, but I don't know. Yeah, we're going to have to do something for that.
That's your Mount Rushmore right there.
Well, Jerry, Jorgie, Terry, that's Rushmore. We'll figure out the fourth one another day. Challenges ahead, Eric. I mean, what are just on your guys' minds as we're so deep in the preparation for football, basketball I'm going to ask you about in a second. Just what are some of the challenges that are on your mind right now?
Yeah, I think we have to continue to balance forward thinking with being present and making sure that every day, we're doing everything we can to keep a healthy, safe environment, to communicate with our campus, with the IMT team on our campus, with our local and state health authorities, continuing to do a great job with our staff, with our coaches, with our student athletes in this unique time where we're not together in person. I mean, those are kind of the foundational nuts and bolts things that we need to continue to do to keep our culture strong and keep our program moving in the right direction. And then, yeah, we're looking at potentially an extremely busy, unprecedented January through May with all of our other teams. And that's really what we're working towards right now, with the conference and, with the continued developments around each sport. But, we got to take baby steps along the way, and hopefully we'll get to a point where we can move forward as a league, as an NCAA association, and get all of these other sports going. But it's taken a monumental effort, great work by many people just to get football and men's and women's basketball going. And we're going to continue to try to build on that.
I want to ask you about men's and women's basketball, Eric. Can I get a quick timeout, and then we're going to come back? It's Athletic Director Thursday, brought to you by Pepsi and locally owned Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks, drink Pepsi. Deputy Athletic Director Eric Roedl, our guest. Talk a little hoops when we come back. A little bit of baseball, some tennis, and anything else we might get to as well. We're back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Learfield IMG College.
Listen and imagine. It takes 5 seconds to send a text, and for those 5 seconds, you're driving blind. Life is worth more than a text. Stay alive. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Everybody buckle up. Mom. Buckle up.
Let's go.
Buckle up.
Can we go to the store? Mom,
buckle
can we get
up.
some ice cream?
Everybody, buckle up.
A lot goes on in the car, but you're in control. So only move when you hear the click that says they're buckled in. Never give up until they buckle up. Learn more at safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Joey Mack welcoming you back inside the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union, and it's Athletic Director Thursday, brought to you by Pepsi. Joining us via the University of Oregon Alumni Association guest line, it's Eric Roedl, Deputy Athletic Director. Been talking about football, some of the updates and reminders for you with no tailgating allowed this year around Autzen Stadium. Doing that to protect everybody and the student athletes and trying to stop this spread and slow this spread so that we can all get back to Autzen Stadium as we know it sooner than later. Basketball season also coming up, Eric, and you mentioned that it's just been such a monumental task to try to get all of this figured out. Where are we at with basketball preparations as we head toward that November 25th start date?
Yeah, both of our teams are preparing, working hard, getting ready for the season on November 25th. And Pac-12 men's basketball shell came out earlier today, announcing the conference matchups and weekends, and then we'll get some more clarity on that schedule in the coming weeks, or really probably sometime, I think, in the next 10 to 14 days in terms of days and times and those sorts of things. And then the women's shell will be coming out as well soon, and then the non-conference portions of both of those schedules. I know our staffs have really had to work hard on building out those non-conference schedules. It's been a bit of a fire drill and trying to balance, the right competitive schedule with all the medical protocols and things that we need to follow, as well as that our opponents need to follow, and some of the shifting landscape nationally with the multi-team events that, have been on or off. So it's a bit of a moving target right now with the schedule, but we know for sure the women will have 22 games and the men will have 20, and we're going to have a great season. We just got to keep working through these protocols.
With those protocols, Eric, I'm curious, just what are the conversations like trying to figure out the schedule? Because everybody's in the same boat, right? I mean, everyone's trying to figure out, okay, how do we do this? How do we do this the best way? I mean, it is kind of like, maybe this is like the ultimate example of we're all kind of in this together, right? As everybody's trying to figure out the proper protocols and getting a schedule put together, right?
Yeah, and I think part of the challenge when you start looking at things nationally, across all of the conferences and all of the schools, when you would normally have non-conference play and you'd play somewhere between 12 and 13 games, it's a much more challenging dynamic this year. And you could have an MTE in the past where you've got some Power Fives and you got some mid majors, and you might even have some relatively low resource Division I schools in those events, and they may not have the capabilities of meeting certain testing standards, which makes it difficult. So it's, a lot of the protocols are different from one part of the country to another, or from one conference to another. So that's been part of the challenge in kind of syncing up the schedule nationally. But, we're going to continue to work through that and, do the best that we can for our student athletes here at Oregon, and put ourselves in the best position to have a great, strong year and position ourselves for the postseason.
Eric Roedl, Deputy Athletic Director, our guest. How about baseball? I mean, we heard from Coach Wazikowski over the last couple weeks, and I've been talking a little bit about just some updates of what's going on in that sport. Obviously, things look a lot different out at PK Park. If you're able to go out to PK Park and observe, it would work. It looks a lot different. I'll just put it that way. Baseball, Eric, I mean, just checking in on a sport that we hope we have a season that looks a little more normal as compared to this past year coming up in the spring.
Yeah, that's what we're targeting, that for baseball and for all of our sports. And right now baseball is in that grouping of sports outside of football and men's and women's basketball where we're not doing daily testing. So we've got certain other protocols that we need to be following around contact and maintaining spacing and those sorts of things that we're working with our public health officials on. So all of our coaches have done an outstanding job. Coach Waz is no exception to that. He's provided great leadership to his staff and his student athletes, and they're working their tails off out there at PK Park, and there's a lot of energy and excitement around that program. They're really looking forward to getting out on the field. I know how bummed they were when they were on the bus to go down to UCLA, back last March and get Pac-12 play going. And we had to kind of call that off. So they're itching to get back out there and compete. But right now they're just making the best of the situation that they're in, and they're working hard, doing everything they can to prepare within the protocols that they're subject to. Things like, simulating, baseball, but using ghost runners. You've got to get creative, to avoid situations where you have contact. So, Coach Waz has done a great job of building out a practice program where they're going to prepare as best they can, but follow all these rules to keep our student athletes safe.
Yeah, I talked to Coach Wazikowski for a little while on Tuesday night, actually, just kind of wondering about how are you doing this? I mean, it really is an undertaking. And, I love that you use the phrase ghost runner, Eric, because to me it takes me back to like playing wiffle ball where you only have like, two people and you got to say, all right, ghost runner on third, like that's where we're at. We're all back to being kids again a little bit, which is kind of interesting. Hey, checking in on the tennis teams, Eric. What have they been up to with Coach Schielander, Coach Nagel? You're overseeing the tennis programs. Where are they at? What's the update? As normally we'd be talking about some of their fall competitions right now, but we're hopefully gearing up for that spring season. Similarly for tennis.
Yeah, they're in a similar place. The one nice thing about tennis is that you can. They're playing with masks on, as are all of our student athletes, that are going through practice right now. But, so that's a little bit different, playing tennis with a mask on inside or outside. But, they're out there competing and working hard and training, preparing for an upcoming season. And, they're in the fortunate situation in tennis where you can really train and compete pretty normally. the thing that's different for the tennis is they're not traveling to play against other schools or in other tournaments around the country,
right.
Which is really a big part of their season. It sets them up, with their rankings individually and through doubles and, building some great match play experience for the spring season. So they're missing out on that a little bit, but they're working hard amongst themselves and competing with each other and, getting ready for hopefully the start to a season in January.
I'm ready for January. It's going to be busy, but I'm ready for January. That's going to be fun when you have all 20 sports at the University of Oregon competing at the same time. Unprecedented, and Eric, dare I say, I hope that we don't necessarily see that again. Is that fair?
No, I hope we see that this year and then never to be replicated.
Yes, I'm in. Deputy Athletic Director Eric Roedl. Hey, I know you got to run to a 1:30 because you actually have a real job. So I appreciate you taking the time to chat with us, Eric. Anything else that you want to highlight? Anything that we missed today?
No, I just appreciate all you're doing, Joey, and stay safe, be well, and we appreciate everybody out there that has continued to support us and throw their passion behind the Ducks. We're so excited to get the student athletes back out on the fields and the courts and let them, pursue their dreams. And, we're going to have to take it in a little bit differently this year, but, we're going to keep moving forward and bright days ahead.
I love that. Deputy Athletic Director Eric Roedl, thank you for joining us, and good luck with the rest of the Zooms the rest of the day, sir. I appreciate it.
I can't wait for those Zooms. Thanks, Joey.
Deputy Athletic Director Eric Roedl, brought to you by Pepsi and locally owned Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks. Drink Pepsi. That was great. We're going to get a quick timeout, come back, talk a little football. DJ James, Verone McKinley, and Popo. I'm telling you, it's a one name. It's a one name. Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Back inside the Country Financial Studio, talking football next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Mountain Dew Zero Sugar presents an original that's now maybe even better. Mary had a little lamb.
Mary had a bottle of Mountain Dew Zero Sugar with the same refreshing taste as the original, but with zero sugar. Same refreshing taste as the original, but with zero sugar. Same refreshing taste as the original, but with zero sugar. Mary had a bottle of Mountain Dew Zero Sugar that's taste was as good as the original, maybe even better.
Mountain Dew Zero Sugar, as good as the original, maybe even better.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school, so I'm trying to break that barrier.
My daughter Brooklyn was also a motivation for me to go back to school.
Every day after work, went straight to school, and it paid off.
At age 26, Kareem finished his high school diploma.
I could not have done it alone.
I see the future is really bright for me.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
We are back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack inside the Country Financial Studio, and thanks to Eric Roedl for joining us for Athletic Director Thursday. Brought to you by Pepsi, locally owned Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks, drink Pepsi. That was terrible grammar. We are scheduled to talk with Rob Mullins next week. We'll chat with him as we get ready for kickoff 2 days later. We're 9 days away from kickoff, if you can believe it. DJ James sure believes it. A guy who has gained a lot of praise from Coach Cristobal and the coaches as, look, the secondary is going to have some new faces in it this year. We know that. DJ James is one of them. I think he's going to play a lot of cornerback for the Ducks this year. And he met with the media for the first time during this modified fall camp this morning. DJ James.
DJ, I wanted to get your thoughts on the opt-in, opt-out, opt-in again. You know, some people opted out of the defensive backfield, and then, you know, obviously D. Leno opted back in. What was your range of emotions, and what were your thoughts learning all these things?
My thoughts going into the opting out of the season, I was like, my time to step up. I'm prepared for this moment. My coaches know I'm prepared for the moment, but them opting back in, I feel like that just gave us more confidence. You know, we having Diamador back with us. That's just making more confidence coming our room.
What's this entire camp been like? I mean, I'm sure last year being a freshman and trying to adjust and, you know, find your way, and now this year, what's just this camp been like for you?
Man, camp's been fun. Coming in as a freshman, things were going really like fast. You know, you got to get adjusted to the college like speed. But like going into camp this year, I felt more comfortable. I knew more about the defense, just a learning experience. I just felt really comfortable, like being under this defense and under this scheme. I feel like I know more this year. I done grew more as a player on the field and off.
DJ, Diamador is the only guy with starting experience, the only upperclassman from your group. What kind of a leader has he been for you, and kind of just in terms of getting this group collectively prepared, kind of what's his role been?
Oh, Diamador been great, man. He's keeping us up to par. Diamador, right when I came in, he took me under him and Thomas, made sure I got like the learning keys from them, teaching me stuff that I needed to know for the position. Diamador just he came back and gave like a lot of confidence to our whole group as a whole. It's just been really fun with him back, and he's really like funny, so that's funny too.
Hey DJ, second year under Coach Avalos. What's your favorite thing about playing for him as you're in your second camp with him now?
My favorite thing about playing under this defense is the scheme. Definitely the schemes. How he works us during doing different techniques under the scheme, how the scheme rolls over from in the learning, when we're learning off the field, and how we like bring it on the field, then like walkthroughs, all of that has just been really good with him because he teaching us step by step from taking it in the classroom to on the field. That's what I was looking for, from in the classroom to on the field. Yeah.
DJ, you have a better grasp of this defense by Coach Avalos. What are some of the strengths overall of the entire secondary unit as opposed to last year? You lost some great players. Now you're restocking. What is the strength of this defensive secondary?
I have to say the strength is definitely us like communicating on the field with each other, us knowing the calls, us being under the defense with Avalos for a second year. Just us knowing like what's going on the field is really good because we all know what we're doing. We didn't have to learn from other players. They knew what they were doing, so that's been really good for us.
Hey, DJ, as far as the chemistry of the team, I assume it's really good. How does it compare to some other teams, high school you've been on, different things? But also, do the coaches make a determined effort to have you room with somebody that maybe you're not always with, or kind of get to know each other better?
Oh, yeah, they always tell us that we need to communicate with everyone on the team. Everyone on the team are like we're like brothers. Everyone knows everyone. It's no like, oh, I don't want to be with him because I don't know how we'll react with each other. Everyone's a family. So it's really cool with that. Really smooth, yeah.
DJ, I know you played quite a bit last year. I think the second half against Washington was a big moment for you. What did you learn from that experience? And it was a really competitive game, and you came in there and made some plays.
Just getting put out there during that time. I knew the preparation we didn't have for that game. I was all in on it. So really good learning experience from that game. Yeah, just really good learning experience. More confidence, more playing time. Yeah, builds your confidence.
DJ, you came clear across the country to play football for University of Oregon from Alabama. Quite a transition. How has it been now that you've been here a couple years, and how do you like Eugene and your decision?
When I first came, it was a culture shock, like coming from Alabama to Oregon, but just really my teammates and my coaches, they brought me in as a family. Like, this is like a really family culture here. Eugene, it was different for me, but I got adjusted to it too, and also the cold weather. So that was something I had to get adjusted to.
Yeah, DJ, you have the most experience going up against these receivers and can relate to what you've seen. What can you tell us about the receiving core and just what are Duck fans going to see from that group?
Oh, Duck fans are going to see some really good receivers this year. That we've been going at it, having a fun fall camp. These receivers are hungry. They want it. All of them want it. They want it for themselves, and they also want it for each other. So it's really good for them. It's been really good competing with them during fall camp. That was really fun as well. Those guys really want it, and we do also, so it's going to be good to see.
DJ, you mentioned the culture shock coming across the country. Did it help at all coming over with guys like Jamal and Triquez from your part of the country that are also, in your position group kind of? And can you just talk about the three of you guys and how you maybe bonded through this experience?
Oh yeah, that was definitely something nice. Me and Jamal and Triquez are all roommates, so that's also a good thing to have. Also them being from, the southern part, that helped a lot. We all we have like a chemistry with each other that's cool because we're all from the southern part of the United States. So, yeah.
DJ, we haven't been able to see you guys practice at all, and going up against the Ducks offense, who's spinning the ball real well right now between Tyler and Anthony?
Both of them are really spinning the ball really good, so I couldn't really tell you. Both of them doing a really good job, getting better every day, something new every day with those two guys. Both of them are really competing with each other. It's been really fun to watch them too as well.
Just want to follow up really quickly. Did you know Jamal and Triquez before you came out here? And then maybe can you just evaluate what you've seen from them as football players since you've arrived here?
I did not know Jamal or Triquez, but I knew Triquez previously from playing in the Alabama and Mississippi All-Star game. But I met Jamal coming up here on the official visit. We all bonded during that, and that really sparked the fire with us, with each other. But from those two, Jamal and Triquez are really becoming great players. Triquez is developing really good. Jamal, y'all know about Jamal making a big name for himself, doing pretty good. But yeah, it's been fun with being with those guys.
DJ, I wanted to go back to your recruitment and also Jamal's recruitment, since I'm sure you guys talked about it a little bit. Run me through on signing day. Wasn't the story that both you and him, or at least you, got calls from Saban and on signing day, and you both turned him down?
Yeah, signing day was crazy. They were Alabama was calling my phone trying to get me to flip to them on signing day, but I stuck with Oregon. Oregon's the place I want to be at. So that's how that went, yeah.
What's it been like for you to see the Ducks start to, with the three guys you mentioned and then the other players, the recruiting like Trey Benson out of the South, what's that like for you to see the Ducks heavily reaching into that region?
Oh, that's amazing. I love seeing us get more recruits from the South. We're getting recruits from everywhere. That's really cool. We're building a really big culture here. It's all the culture here is amazing. People from everywhere, everybody with, different backgrounds, different experience, come from different places. So it's been pretty cool to, talk with those people, see about their experience growing, coming from the place they came from and where we came from. And all of us are all together in it as a family here.
Good to get to know DJ James, young quarterback for the Ducks. Played last year, going to play a lot more, I think, this year. We're going to hear more from the Oregon defense and Verone McKinley, guy who's really a leader in that secondary and for this entire defense now coming up. It's Duck Insider, brought to you by North Fork Public House, open for dine-in and takeout, northforkeugene.com. After this, talking more football inside the Country Financial Studio, next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
All it takes is one drop to make a wave. One beat to inspire a track. One spark to get creativity flowing. With every drop, Life Water refreshes your mind and restores your body. Purified water, pH balanced with electrolytes for taste. Designed with original works of art on every bottle. Let us be your source of inspiration. Life Water, the feel-good water.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics. This is the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
When you went car shopping, you meant business. You aced vehicle history searches and test drives. You out-salesmaned the salesman. Now you've got your wheels. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart savings strategies, you'll have the info you need to get more for your future. Go to aceyourretirement.org, because when it comes to speeding past financial challenges, you're an ace. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
GTG, BRB, OMW, be there in a few. You may think that these kinds of texts are fine because of their length, and you can easily send them at a stoplight. But no, answering one text can take your attention away from the road for 5 seconds. And traveling at 55 miles an hour, that's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Make good decisions, don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack with you inside the Country Financial Studio. Earlier today, we also got the chance to hear from Verone McKinley III, really a leader in this secondary now. And they just wrapped up interviews right before we went on the air at 1 o'clock. And want to let you listen in to Verone McKinley, some of the greatest hits, if you will, from him talking to the media today.
Ron, I know about your versatility and the different positions you can play. So I was just kind of wondering, this fall camp, what positions are you focusing on mostly? Where are you spending most of your practice time in camp?
I've mostly spent my time at free safety, just back there at free safety, just handling business.
Hey, Verone, hope all is well. Just wanted to get your opinion on, the last kind of week and how you've seen the pandemic kind of affect your team. Did it reinforce maybe just how diligent that you guys have to be when it comes to being healthy and safe off the field to have a full season?
Definitely. Coach Cristobal and our training staff has been really harping on making sure we wear our mask and wash our hands. So to see what happened, it was just, it's college football and that's kind of the world right now. So whatever we need to do, the protocols we need to take, we got to make sure that we take them seriously and make sure that we're doing it to the fullest.
Romy, we were just talking to DJ, and I asked him about kind of his relationship with Jamal and Triquez coming from a different part of the country. I know you're from Texas, so maybe similar culture shock. Can you kind of reflect on your experience here and maybe any advice you gave to them when they got here?
Oregon's different. It's such a great school, honestly, from the campus to the teachers to academic staff to our coaches, and it's like a family. And I feel like me coming here and those guys coming here is probably some of the best decisions we've ever had to make in our lives. And I'm so glad to be here, and I'm glad to have those guys along with me. We're all from kind of the southern sector of the United States. So just, embracing kind of the difference from being down south to being in the Pacific Northwest. So I enjoy it here.
Verone, as a guy who played obviously last year as a redshirt freshman, how different do you see the step from the two cornerbacks who obviously they played as true freshmen last year, but both in Mike Hale on your side and DJ on the other side, just how much further along do you see them a year later and with that game experience they got last year?
Well, getting game experience helps a lot. So having that game experience and taking into, year 2 helped them tremendously. They're guys, they're ready to go right now. I both put them in. They're ready to start and be contributors and make plays. That's what it's all about in the secondary. We make plays. So those 2 guys are ready for action at all times, and I trust both of them as corners.
What have you learned about this just overall defense, now that you've had 2 or 2.5 weeks of fall camp?
This defense, we really trust one another, and we fly around. We're fast and physical. Those are the 2 things that I would say are probably the biggest thing. We're fast and physical, and we're smart. And we're ready to make plays. We're excited to have an opportunity to play, and just this defense is ready to go. We of course, got to keep getting better and keep getting sharper, but we look good, I think.
Ron, I wanted to get your veteran opinion of who have been the offensive standouts that have really caught your eye as a guy that from your position gets to see the whole offense.
Ooh, who's really caught my eye? Just for the younger guys, I would say Trey Benson, Chris Hudson, of course, Micah and Jalen Redd. Those are probably like 4 guys. And Devin Williams. Those are some guys that have really stood out to me. Of course, Redd and Micah, we've known about them and everything. But Devin and Chris Hudson and Trey Benson, guys who are really competitive, really, really attack you. And just they look good. They look good.
Now that you're a few weeks into this year's fall camp, how does it parallel to your previous fall camps here at Oregon? I know there's like different scheduling and the on and off. So how does that parallel to where the team is through the 3 weeks?
Thankfully, we were already prepared. Just with the pandemic and not being sure about what we were going to do, we were always prepared to play. So really, when we got the okay to go ahead and go, we were kind of set. Of course, it's a little bit shorter of time compared to if we started fall camp in the past few years, but it's still good. Actually, we have time to really take care of our bodies before practice and after practice. So a lot of us like it a little bit better, actually.
One of the things DJ said helped him kind of get used to being out in a different part of the country was just having Jamal and Triquez with him. He roomed with them. And what was your, I guess, taking a couple years, what was your support system like when you came out here, and who did you lean on?
Justin Hollins and Ugo Amadi. Justin Hollins, especially just because he was from Texas as well. So I would always ask him a lot of questions. And even our equipment guy, Austin Cruz, he's from Houston. So those are 2 people from Texas that I really talked to. And then Ugo, of course. Ugo took me under his wing early on when I got here. And, I still talk to Ugo to this day. I talked to Ugo just last week. So,
Veron, I know you're obviously a film guy. Guessing you probably have taken a look at Stanford a little bit at this point. You guys played Costello last year, and he's not there anymore. And their running backs changed, and their main tight end, who you guys locked down, Javon did a great job against him. He's gone. So just what are your kind of initial thoughts on a quarterback you haven't seen before and a receiver group that lost a big weapon, that tight end?
Well, they still have weapons offensively, from the quarterback to the running backs to the receivers. They have weapons all around, and we're going to have to make sure we're prepared. This is a game where you can't sleep on them. Just because they lost a few guys, they always bring in new guys that can make plays. So just making sure we dot all our I's and cross all our T's and just look at everybody. They have a lot of playmakers. So,
Veron, looking back at last year, what was your best highlight personally in a game? And for the team, what was your personal highlight? What game was the most exciting?
I would say the team-wise, the most exciting game was Washington, just because we were down and it was wet. We didn't really have a great first half. It was cold, and then just to see us come back, and it really showed what we do in the fourth quarter and how everything we do in the offseason really all was displayed right there. And then personally for me, I would say the Colorado game. That was kind of one of my breakout games, and just to really show that I'm here and I'm here to stay, and that I'm ready to play big-time college football.
Veron, I guess I wonder, with Jamal Hill, he came into camp, I think, expected to take the spot. It sounds like he's taken ownership of that. Where have you seen his growth, and I guess specifically mentally, going from a reserve last year behind Javon to somebody who's going to need to play some big reps this year?
Just learning a lot from last year and asking a lot of questions between me and Javon last year, just taking him under our wing and just helping him a lot. He's grown. And then this offseason, he really harped in on his footwork and understanding the defense and understanding concepts. So me and him have talked a lot. We've stayed late in meetings and everything, just making sure that we're going over everything, whether it's a personnel set, a different concept, a route concept, what's difficult within the coverage, and just making sure that he's staying on the details. That's something we really harp on, is being detailed in everything we do. So that's what's made Jamal flourish.
Ron, you didn't get much of a chance at a rebuttal the other night. I wanted to give you a chance after Tyler said he loves throwing the ball over your head. So how accurate is that, or how many interceptions have you gotten on him since he had the floor to make a statement, wanted to give you a chance to fire back, really more in a playful way. Just the dynamic that a guy who's vying for the starting quarterback job can it can take those comments and has that latitude with you.
Well, me and Tyler came in together early, and he was my roommate. We were roommates for like 2 years, so I love Tyler so much, one of my best friends. But Tyler does not throw the ball over my head. We make sure that we're on top of everything. I've picked Tyler off before. I have breakups, so it's always fun playing around with them. We love a guy that's competitive, and I'm competitive as well, so we're always going back and forth and just having fun with it.
Verone, you talked about the strengths of this defensive communication, all the stuff that you're bringing into this year. It's such a wacky, crazy year. Game week is almost a few days away. You guys excited to get into game week, and how excited are you to strap it up against Stanford?
Man, as a team, we're itching to go. We're so excited. I mean, you can't even really express it because it's here. I mean, we did all of this waiting since March, and now it's here. And just for me, I mean, I feel like it's one of those years where I really have something to prove. Last year was my first year. I got my feet wet. Now I'm trying to be dominant.
Verone McKinley, good stuff, huh? I didn't know until he said that he and Tyler Shuck were roommates. So that's quite the dynamic, right? You got a defensive back and a quarterback. You think they exchange notes, or do they just keep all that to themselves? I don't know. Maybe a little bit of both. That's Verone McKinley talking with the media. Coming up inside the Country Financial Studio, Popo. That's right. Talking with the big man on the defensive line after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Hey everyone, let's all stop what we're doing and take a moment. You see? Every moment can be kind of special. But they can be loud moments, goofy moments, dorky moments, it doesn't matter. Because every time dads like us take a moment like that to spend with our kids, well, it's pretty momentous. So let's take a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hello, it's me, the designer jeans in the back of your closet. What happened to us? I used to summer in the Hamptons, and now I'm stuck behind a pair of sweats. Okay, maybe I never really fit you right, but I got a lot more Sunday fun days left in me. So take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff. Create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack inside the Country Financial Studio. The final interview for today, Popo Aumavae. He met with the media today to talk about, what he's been up to in fall camp, and a guy who's going to play a lot. You know, he may not be the guy that gets the notoriety like an Austin Faliu, a Jordan Scott, a Kayvon Thibodeau, but Popo's been a big part of this defense for a few years now, and he talked to the media today.
Popo, Coach Cristobal is saying you made some big strides in this offseason and are looking really nice in camp here. What do you think your big strides have been that you've made since we've last seen you?
For me, it's been weight loss and really just falling back on fundamentals and asking coaches questions when I'm lost and when I actually need help, or asking Jordan or Austin.
You mentioned Jordan. What's the biggest thing you maybe learned from him so far in this camp and in your time in Eugene in general?
I've learned a lot from him. I mean, he's kind of, along with Coach Joe and Austin, he really taught me the ropes, being nose guard, and kind of just being behind him. And obviously he's a great player, and just picking his brain and asking questions to him and certain techniques that we run, and just picking his brain whenever I need to.
Popo, brand new offensive line that you're going against this camp, at least in terms of the starting group. You've seen the guys before. Who's been tough? Who's been blocking well in the middle there?
They're all great players.
Oh, Popo. So, our computer for the third time. What a terrible way to end what was such a great show.
Yeah.
I blame Scott Phillips.
I'm looking at it.
I blame Scott Phillips.
I blame this technology.
I blame Scott Phillips. I blame Scott Phillips.
Yeah,
anyway, Popo was going to talk a little bit more just about the defensive line, and hopefully if you missed it, if we can't get it for you again tomorrow or later today, you can view it on the GoDucks YouTube channel. Scott Labonte's been uploading all of the on-demand, if you will. That's all right, though. We can talk a little basketball. Schedule was released today, the shell anyway, as they call it. So one thing that is, shall we say, at least in my mind, not ideal, is Oregon and Washington, both in football and men's basketball, are going to play on the same day. I wish that the conference hadn't scheduled it that way. I understand there's a lot of moving parts to get these things scheduled. But, man, I just as an Oregon fan, forget the fact that I want to make sure that I can be on the broadcast for both football and basketball. Just as a fan, I want to be able to have a little separation between my rivalry games. Yeah. So Oregon and Washington, though, are both going to play in men's basketball and football on December 12th. Oddly enough. So the details, Oregon will begin the 2020 to 2021 Pac-12 Conference men's basketball season at Washington. That's on that December 12th game. And we'll also host UCLA on December 23rd. That'll be the final conference game in these December games before Christmas. The league announced all this today. You can find it on GoDucks.com with the Oregon-centric schedule. Ducks also found out that the home and away weekend, or what the home and away weekends will be. The full breakdown, those of you who are watching the show can see it, assuming that the computer hasn't completely taken a... Well, but what about showing the schedule? Oh, everything's dead. The final weekend of conference play, though, will consist solely of rivalry games. So Oregon State will be the final weekend. Ducks will not head to Washington State. There you go. Ducks will not head to Washington State this season, and they will not host USC in Eugene. The Pac-12 tournament is still scheduled at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, March 10th through 13th. Specific dates and times, as well as television partners on either Pac-12 Network, ESPN2 or U, or ESPN, Fox FS1 or CBS. All of the games will be televised this year, which honestly I had that question heading into this season. Wasn't sure how they would approach that in this very, very dynamic situation. Oregon's non-conference schedule will be released in the coming weeks. And we're hoping for a women's basketball schedule soon, too. There you go. What a day. See you tomorrow.
Okay, forest animals, kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow, have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. River, how's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man.
I love it. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. Okay. Squirrel.
The forest has been preparing just for you. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest,